Welcome to the Tea Huddle with Marissa and Kelly.
Your only source for good iron gossip. If you love football,
or if you love dating rumors about people in the public eye,
then this is the podcast for you.
Kelly, welcome back. We're excited to be here. I just got off a long flight. I'm jet lagged. I'm a little confused. I'm full of caffeine. So I feel
look
like
great.
Thank you. I feel like I don't know what energy I've got going on, but I'm ready to talk about football gossip.
Yeah, I've got some updates for you from this past week.
Sidebar really quick. Whenever I travel, I look at my beautiful, stunning Away suitcase, not sponsored, but also like Away, we would love for you to sponsor us. And I'm reminded that I used my winnings from my fantasy football champion reign last year to buy my new suitcase. And it just makes me feel like a winner every time I see it.
I feel like, shout out Away. I'm hoping to win the league this year.
Yeah.
And I need to go for a new suitcase.
Yeah. I was waiting by baggage claim and I see it come down and I'm just like,
fantasy.
I was the best at fantasy football. And now I have this beautiful suitcase to show for it. I'm doing really poorly in 2 of my leagues, but I'm kicking so much ass in one of them. And that's the big pay one. So
there you go.
I could buy one of those big suitcases to go along with it.
I'm really fighting to hold on to the playoff spot. So.
I think you got it. We play each other again this week.
We do.
And
I'll take a win, please.
Yeah. Well, I don't stand a chance.
We're not going to rig it.
Yeah.
Our commissioner who's listening.
Yeah. But
I'm feeling confident this week.
I'm not. So that bodes well for you. But before we move on to the week ahead, let's go back to the week that we just finished.
Yeah, I'll catch you up since you weren't around to watch all the games.
Exactly. I was refreshing my fantasy, but I missed a lot. So fill me in on week 11.
The biggest news of the week is that the Bills handed the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss of the season.
Finally.
So I was very excited for that.
I'm like not a hater, but let's even the playing field out here. They won last year. They're enough with the winning.
And they were barely winning the past few games. That it was time that they actually felt like what a true loss feels like.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers secured their lead in the AFC North with their win against the Ravens. So that was a big division matchup. Which
we'll see all about in the Hard Knocks AFC North in-season season.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be probably a big game that they're going to spend time on. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it starts soon, and it's for the first time. I don't think we've talked about it. For the first time, rather than following just one team, they're following a whole division to help people like me understand the difference between a division and a conference.
You're going to know that division really well by the end of it.
Yeah, I need that. So thanks, HBO or Max.
The Chargers beat the Bengals to win their 4th straight game, so they're on a winning streak. And on Monday Night Football, Houston came out on top as the best team in Texas when they beat the Cowboys.
Texas v. Texas.
Love to see it.
I actually have some more on that as our first top story. It's about the Texas.
A lot happened in Texas this week.
Yeah, we have a lot to say. We're going to dive into
in Dallas specifically, but
the shenanigans going on in Jerry World. Is that what they call it?
Jerry World, yeah.
I feel like I saw that.
He's going through a lot right now.
But our first top story is right on the heels of what you were talking about, the Cowboys' big loss to the Texans. It brought their record to 3-7. It's not good. It's not very good. And that didn't seem to bother star player CeeDee Lamb too much.
Who's on my fantasy team.
How did he do this week?
He did fine, but not impressive.
Well, it sort of seemed like he was celebrating something impressive because later Monday night, he and Trayvon Diggs, who's on the Texans, Stephon Diggs' brother, we've talked about him plenty over the last few weeks, they were seen at the club in Dallas filming a music video.
Who's got the time?
Yeah. There's like a 2-second clip of them rapping at the club to a camera. So all signs point to a music video. The comments are, fans are so pissed.
How long have they been planning to do this music video, you think?
Well, fans are like, so they lost because they had their mind on a music video. 2 guys who clearly are focused on the right things, sarcastically. Yeah.
I think not a good look after
such a big loss.
A lot of losses this year.
Yeah. Is it true they haven't won a
home.
single home game? Is that right? Or did I
They
make
haven't
that
won a
up?
single home game. Yeah, they're 0-5 at home. So
You guys.
yeah, focus out there.
Yeah.
Get out of the club.
Get out of the club. We haven't heard any of CD Lamb's music. Also, is it like, are they a duo? Is one featured on the other one's song? We don't know. All we have to go off of is the
Who's the
2-second.
leader?
Exactly. But either way, these are not the first two NFL players to try their hand at music, rap specifically. We've got some other NFL players who have given it a go.
You got to have a second career ready to go in case an injury happens, you know? You got to be prepared.
Exactly. You got to diversify your...
Your skill set.
Yeah. So last year we talked about Darren Waller.
Of course.
From the Giants when he was really going through it. He's going through his divorce from WNBA player Kelsey Plum.
His divorce from the Giants.
Exactly. His music wasn't particularly good. I'm not, a critic, but I have ears.
He had some really good music videos from what I remember.
He was invested in the music videos. So are CD Lamb. And
that's all that matters sometimes.
Yeah. Melvin Ingram is a current Dolphin. He's been in the league since 2012, and he dropped an album under the name King Mel.
All right.
So he does a little on
like
the
the
field,
name.
off the field. Yeah. You mentioned having a backup plan in case you get injured. Blake Prohl was a Minnesota Viking from 2021 to 2022 and had a career-ending injury and went and auditioned for American Idol.
I love that.
He made it to the top 24.
Really? He did well?
Uh-huh.
Wait, what year was that?
2024.
Oh.
It was just this year. American Idol still going.
Wow, I'm going to go check him out.
Didn't American Idol end? They were like final season.
I
and
feel
then
like it's just been going forever and ever.
like, just kidding. We're back. Well, good thing for Blake Prohl because
You go, Blake.
you go Blake. Antonio Brown, who I don't know if we've really talked about on the Tea Huddle. I
I don't think we've gotten into all of AB's backstory.
We don't have the
There's
time today, but we could do a whole, next time we need like a bye-week episode. That man is just, if you want to go into a rabbit hole of a Wikipedia, AB is one to do it. We're talking domestic assaults. We're talking sexual assaults. We're talking...
Stripping your clothes off in the middle of the game and running off the field.
And speaking of that exact incident, so he released music in 2020, and then in 2022, hours after he ran off the field in the middle of a game, never to return to the sport of football after, he released a song just hours after that.
Wow.
So he's trying his hand at music, politics. He spoke at a Trump rally this year.
He's doing too much.
Yep. Joe Barksdale was an offensive tackle in the league from 2011 to 2018. That's a long time. He retired to pursue music full time and has had albums since then. And if you Google him, it's like music artist is what comes up, not NFL player.
Wow. So he's like pretty successful.
Yes.
So he's got listeners at least.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then a surprising one, Deion Sanders, known as Coach Prime, who played from 1989 to 2005, like Pro Bowls, left and right, Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, this guy's done it all.
He's done it all. And he managed to release an album in 1994 in the thick of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet it was probably pretty decent.
It has a very like early 90s
Yeah, it's
sound.
a good time for rap, I feel like.
Yeah.
If you're going to release songs, like that was the time to do it.
Yeah, I feel like he was wearing like a really big suit in the music
Yeah.
video.
So he could always fall back on his rap career
I don't think he needs to.
if college football doesn't work out.
We're going to talk about him.
Or NFL. Yeah. We'll
later
get
in
to
the
him.
episode.
But I think you're forgetting someone else who've spoken about their rap career. Mac Jones, McCorkle.
Yes, right.
How
could I forget?
Quarterback for the Patriots, current backup for the Jags. He released a video when he got drafted by the Jags talking about all his hobbies. Golfing, fishing, and rapping being one. And he said he's happy to share it with the world now and he's not playing for the Patriots anymore. Whatever that means.
I think it means he didn't feel acceptance in New England.
I don't think Bill would have been impressed. Bill Belichick.
No, although Bill Belichick's got some wacky hobbies these days, like
It's true. He's changed.
whatever he's got going on with his little girlfriend. Maybe he now would like whatever Mac Jones rap sounds like. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, he says he's got a few songs. Got to try to find those.
Yeah. Cue me like digging deep into SoundCloud trying to find McCorkle. I wonder what his rap name would be.
Maybe McCorkle.
It should
McCorkle Jones.
be.
But I guess, yeah, we'll try to find CD's latest music video once it's released. And
when we're watching it, know that it came off of like a massive loss that probably, eliminated them from any postseason opportunities. We can like
more
see
time
the
to
defeat
focus
in his
on,
eyes.
on rapping, I guess.
Silver lining.
Speaking of big personalities, Tommy DeVito is back. He's
Well,
back.
thank goodness.
We'll be looking to see a lot of this happening on the field, a lot of the Italian hand gestures.
Yeah.
So big news heading into week 12. Daniel Jones has officially been benched, and his replacement, named starting quarterback, is none other than Tommy DeVito, who we definitely remember from last year.
How could you forget? Well, I thought we saw the last of him because Daniel Jones was injured at the time.
Yeah.
This time he's healthy. He just isn't good.
It just isn't performing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy came in last year when Tyrod Taylor got hurt, if you remember that name.
Yes.
So they had a few backups that were battling it out last year on the Giants. And Tommy did decent. He won 3 of his 6 starts last season. So, I mean, it's a pretty good 50%. That's more wins than the Giants have right now. So
Yeah.
get Tommy out there, I guess, is the thought.
That's their plan.
And I mean, from a media engagement standpoint, he had even more memes, and it's good publicity for the Giants. I think maybe it could change the energy a little bit.
It got people hyped up. People were excited. He was doing meet and greets at the local pizzeria.
Yeah.
He was overcharging mom and pop shops for autographs. It was a whole thing.
The whole thing. He runs out, like at home games, he runs out to on the field with the Sopranos theme song playing. So I'm excited to witness more of that.
He talks about how his mom still makes his bed and cooks him dinner, which is something maybe you should keep to yourself.
Update on that.
Oh,
He has officially moved out of his parents' house.
Tommy,
and
good
got
for
his
you.
own place. So things are looking up for DeVito.
I'm proud of him.
He's moving out. He's starting quarterback.
Wow. We remember his mom not just from making his bed, but when he was a starter for those bleeding wonderful weeks. Remember, like, his whole family showed up to the tailgate and they said they brought like 300 chicken cutlets to just give out to fans.
Yeah, there was like 25 people in his family, like the big old Italian family.
Definitely.
Just cooking up cutlets in the parking lot.
Cutlets for you. Cutlets for you. And how could we forget my favorite character from this whole, I don't even know what to call it,
This
ordeal. His agent, Sean Stellato. What a character. I can't wait to see what he's wearing on the sidelines because he will definitely be there.
He's back. He was definitely like a character I'm very glad that was introduced to the football community last year.
Yes. I feel like, remember his name was spelled wrong on his website? That was my favorite thing about him. Like, spell check your website?
Yeah, well, I think he's doing just fine. Yeah. Shows up in fedoras.
Yeah.
He's like kissing Tommy's dad on the sidelines, doing the whole like Italian kiss on the cheek.
He was like the grand marshal for a Columbus Day parade somewhere in New Jersey this year. Like, he loves being famous, or as like famous as a backup NFL playing agent can be. Although not a backup right now.
Yeah.
Starter.
Stellato got inducted into the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame last year. So
that's star power.
Things looking up for these guys.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that the whole Giants franchise sees this as an exciting move.
Yeah.
Something that will change the energy.
Definitely.
I mean, it's definitely not working right now with Danny in there. Although I do feel bad for how things ended. That's got to be really tough in the locker room.
Definitely.
I think that even the more confusing thing about all of this is Drew Lock has been Danny's backup all year, And Tommy's now jumping up to starting quarterback, and Drew will be his backup.
Yeah, what's that about?
So he must be pretty pissed and confused.
And Drew Lock is a rookie? He was just drafted?
No, Drew Lock's been in the league for a while. He's been like...
Oh, I remember
he was a backup on the Seahawks last year, had a few good games there.
He also has a fun personality. He like was seen like knowing all the words to rap songs on the sidelines, and people were like, this guy's got Riz.
Future rapper.
Get in line.
The Giants signed a 1-year, $5 million contract with him. So pretty surprising that they're just having him sit on the bench and not play.
What is going on there?
But I'm thinking the reason, like, there's obviously some questions on putting Tommy DeVito in instead of Drew, but it sounds like they're trying to just prepare for next season and figure out if Tommy DeVito is someone that they could have as a backup going forward, because Drew is like more expensive. So like if Tommy works out, they'll hopefully draft a quarterback next year, keep Tommy as a backup. He's fighting for a backup for next year.
They're not trying to win, you're saying. They're just like using this time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's another theory. They're trying to like tank to get a better pick. But I also think they do want to see if Tommy DeVito can be good next year as a backup, because you need to have a decent backup. People get hurt all the time.
They sure do.
But if it doesn't work out, I think Dable, the coach, has a lot to figure out between all of his different quarterbacks.
Yeah. I didn't know this, but for anyone out there who doesn't know this, so the worst team in the league, right? The team with the worst record gets the best draft pick for the next year. So like you don't want to be third worst. You want to be the
if you're going to be bad, you want to just be the worst.
We're going to talk about that later in the episode because it's a fight to be the worst.
Fight to be the worst.
And
there's a lot of teams who are pretty bad right now. So we're going to discuss which ones we think might be the top.
The
top and worst.
And Sean
teams.
Stellato hopes that it's not his boy Tommy.
But they'll enjoy the spotlight while they have it. That's for sure.
Definitely. Kelly, you mentioned at the top that the Chiefs finally had their first loss, but it didn't come without some drama and some bad sportsmanship, I'll say.
Yeah, I feel like when the Chiefs face off against the Bills, there's always some kind of drama that's happening.
Yeah.
Off the field, on the field.
On the internet.
Yeah,
outside of the stadium. So Patrick Mahomes, we all know he sounds like Kermit the Frog. It's like a long-standing joke. He's made jokes about it. He's in on the joke. It, I think, came to sort of a peak when the Raiders in the preseason brought a Kermit doll, and we're just like making Mahomes jokes. And then when the Raiders played the Chiefs this year, like a bunch of people in the stands had Kermit dolls.
Yeah, and they're like division rivals, so it makes sense that
the Raiders and the Chiefs, or the Bills and the Chiefs?
The Raiders and the Chiefs.
Okay.
So it makes sense that they've like had that banter, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And the Bills are not in the same division.
Different division.
Okay.
Same AFC conference.
Okay. Got it. So before the game at Highmark Stadium, where the Bills play, some Bills fans had a Kermit doll. They put a number 15 jersey on it to make it look like Patrick Mahomes, put a curly-haired wig on it, and hung it from a pole outside the stadium.
Yeah, this was very disturbing.
Super disturbing, especially because, like, not especially, anytime you emulate hanging a person, but it was just like, it sort of implied like a lynching.
Yeah.
Given Patrick Mahomes' race, and it just felt really ugly, violent, scary.
Yeah, they just took that joke way too far to where that's not a joke.
Yeah. I feel like I've never been to a football tailgate, but that's on my
They're really fun
to do next year. It's on my 2025 New Year's resolutions. But
I'll go with you.
Okay, that would be fun. Do the Lions ever play the Patriots?
Every 3 years, which
okay,
could be coming up.
Let's go to that before it gets too cold. I hope that it would be great if maybe like early next year the Lions and the Patriots were playing each other like
in October in Foxborough.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Okay, see you then. But just from seeing online, like it looks, it's like fun. It's crazy. People are jumping through tables. People are drinking out of shoes, like whatever.
Definitely jumping on tables at Bills games. They don't do that everywhere. But.
Okay, that's good to know. But sometimes it does go way too far. Like I've seen a lot of stuff at Browns tailgates online making jokes about Deshaun Watson's assaults. I've seen just like, stop it, everyone. Be normal.
Yeah, a lot of drunk idiots.
Yeah, who like don't know when to stop with something. I would say, put the wig on the Kermit doll, put the jersey on the Kermit doll. Like, don't mimic murder.
Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, just like a good rule of thumb.
It makes me less excited about the Bills win.
Yes, totally.
Like taints the whole day.
Yeah, and it was just, one or a few bad apples, but
it's true.
Spoils the whole bunch.
Yeah.
Another person who, not in a violent way, but in a different way that I didn't like, got in on the shit talk. Bills linebacker Balin Spector, his wife Riley Spector, she wanted in on the smoke, the beef. She posted a picture with two other players' wives, Dalton Knox and Tyler Bass, and posted after the game was over 9-2 exclamation point, which is exciting because that is the Bills record, and then posted never a Swiftie with the yawning face emoji. That's so weird to me. It would be one thing if she was like, my husband beat Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Like, that's fine. But to be like, my husband's team won and I hate one of the players' girlfriends. Like,
I don't get why people would just attack the Swifties for. Like,
never a Swiftie. What does that have to do with your husband winning a football game? I just like.
She wasn't even there.
Right. Taylor wasn't even there. And
she wasn't distracting this time, as everyone says.
Yeah.
So.
And like, to me, it seems like you want attention. You want people to screenshot that and post it on TMZ and the Daily Mail and wherever, which is exactly what happened. Because otherwise nobody cares about Balin Spector's wife. So it's just like.
Good way to stir the pot.
Clout chasey.
Yeah.
But like you said, Taylor was not at the game, and it might be because of the bad vibes. So the last time the Chiefs played the Bills at Highmark, at the Bills Stadium, right after the game, Travis said on New Heights that there was a lot of hate pulling up to that stadium. Understandable. It's a football game. We're coming to their house. But did it get a little respectful? 1,000%. Did it get a little extra? 1,000%. Some things were said about the families. Some pretty inappropriate things were said about Pat Mahomes. It was pretty whack. And it does sound pretty whack.
Yeah, I mean, based on what they're doing this year, too.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I get it. They're not division rivals. The Bills have lost to the Chiefs many times in the playoffs, in the AFC Championship. So definitely some tension there, but it's the middle of the season, guys. Like.
Yeah. And like, you won. Be excited. Don't like make it ugly. To be fair, on that New Heights episode, when Travis was talking about how it got disrespectful and whack, Jason Kelsey said, I mean, honestly, one of the most fun experiences I've ever had from start to finish.
I do remember him at this game last year, like took his shirt off. Like he was taking beers from Bills fans.
That man knows how to find fun. I like that.
He was having a good time. And that, I mean, if you take your shirt off in Buffalo, like Bills fans like that. They do that kind of stuff. Jump through tables, like the crazier you are, the better.
And let's get crazy. Let's just not,
let's not be offensive.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if these two teams face off again in the playoffs this year, because it could be some more tensions rising.
Heated.
And it's that special time again to
step out of the car. Step out of the car, Antoine Williams. Step out of the car. We don't always invite a former player to step out of the car, but sometimes we have to make exceptions. And this week we're making 2 exceptions.
Just that kind of week.
Yeah. The first one up is Antoine Williams, former Lions linebacker, was arrested this week in Georgia by the FBI. When the FBI is involved, it's time to step out of the car.
You definitely got to mention this one.
He was arrested on 7 charges related to the January 6th Capitol riots, including felony assault, resisting and impeding officers, and obstruction of a law enforcement during a civil disorder.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Williams, whose full name is Leander Antoine Williams, but professionally he went by Antoine Williams, was seen on police body cam footage striking an officer in the head,
Oof.
pulling bike racks away from a police line, grabbing and pulling officers who appeared to be trying to push him away. That man
Getting real physical.
joined that insurrection with all his might. In the footage, he is wearing a hat and often a black face mask. So you'd think hard to identify him. But he was identified by a red key fob on his belt loop that appears to be some sort of a signature look, because in all these different pictures of him on his own social media, he wears this red key fob on his belt loop.
Wow. Thought he was being sly with the mask, but
So not only is he a violent insurrectionist, he has no fashion sense at all. Who wears a key fob on your belt loop in the year of 2024, or the year 2020 was originally, you know? Get it together. He played for the Lions in 2016 when he was drafted, and he bounced around the league until 2019. He was signed to an XFL team for like a month. And then when that didn't work out, he was waived from his XFL team, which means invited to no longer participate.
ouch.
He decided in August of 2020 to go to law school, which we now know was about
He knew he was going to be in trouble.
8 months after he assaulted police officers and participated in a violent insurrection. So
Let's see if he can get himself off the hook.
important to note, at the original hearing last Thursday, no lawyer was present.
Oh, he's going to represent himself.
I really hope he does, because
That usually does not work out for
he
people.
does not have his law degree.
Oh, yeah. He's just in school for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Antoine Williams, good luck with that. I mean, for like a month before
Yeah. It could all be
a pardon,
forgiven.
I'm sure, comes. But
But until then,
until then,
you're in the car.
you're in the police car, not the car that you were driving when you were made to step out. I mean, it's on camera that you're assaulting a police officer. I feel like
either way, that's like unpardonable, right?
we'll see. But as we mentioned, it's a special week, and it is time for yet another person to step out of the car.
Step out of the car, Adam Jones. Step out of the car.
Last weekend, after the Mike Tyson fight at AT&T Stadium, I'm sure everyone watched that. I watched it. Former quarterback for the Cowboys, Adam Pac-Man Jones, was arrested after taking part in a fight at a hotel bar. Side note, his mom gave him the nickname Pac-Man when he was a child because he can run in different directions very quickly. So I just had to know why he goes by Pac-Man.
Is really cute. Another side note, also, before we get into Pac-Man's debacle, we talked last week about AT&T Stadium, how the sun is blinding people. They can't catch touchdowns. They closed the blinds for the fight. They're not going to close them for the game, but they're going to close them for the fight. What's going on over there at AT&T Stadium?
We all know now, so...
Mm-hmm. Okay, but back to Pac-Man.
Back to the arrest. Pac-Man was charged with public intoxication, assault of a peace officer, which I guess is just any type of law enforcement officer.
Oh.
And resisting and evading arrests. So around 1 a.m. on Friday, or I guess Saturday morning after the fight, an off-duty officer was notified by hotel security that a fight had broken out in the hotel bar area. The off-duty officer tried to step in between them and said, if you don't stop fighting, you'll be arrested. They stopped for a little bit. Shortly after, Jones, Pac-Man, started a fight again. And this time when the officer went to go break them up, he hit her on the wrist.
He hit the officer?
Hit the officer on the wrist.
Not what you are probably
Not
supposed
what you should
to do.
Yeah, so she tries to arrest him. He like pushes her away and starts walking away, just like evading arrest. And so she calls backup. Finally, he's arrested and made it a lot more serious than it had to be.
Some similarities in these two.
Yeah.
evading, assaulting.
A lot of attacks on peace officers.
Yeah, who knew peace officer was a thing? I mean, maybe people did. I didn't.
Me neither.
Also worth noting that Pac-Man Jones, I can't just call him Jones, I have to say the whole name, has such a long list of previous arrests and legal issues. If you go, like, when you're done with AB's Wikipedia, head on over to Pac-Man Jones. There are many arrests. They're related to financial stuff, violent stuff. He violently assaulted an exotic dancer when he was at a club with Nelly years ago, allegedly. Seems like he's not a stand-up guy, I'll say, just based on a skim of the Wikipedia.
So we're adding another arrest to his long list of arrests.
Mm-hmm. Well, this bad behavior is a good segue to our newest segment called Race to the Bottom.
Oh no. They're crashing out here. This segment is also known as the Shador Sanders sweepstakes because Shador is most likely going to be the number one pick.
Okay.
And we're starting to narrow down and see where he might land.
And that's Deion Sanders, who we talked about earlier, his son.
His son, who's a quarterback at Colorado currently. So they play with each other, Deion and his son.
Cute.
And
I met them both once years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They were promoting a reality show. Like, it was called like The Sanders Family or something. They were a little bit rude, but
Kardashians.
Yeah. Yeah. Neither here nor there.
Shador is projected to be the first round pick. So we just wanted to run through a few teams that we think could be a good landing spot for him, or at least some teams that are in the bottom 5 to 10% of the league right now.
Okay, Kelly, who's up first?
The Cowboys. They currently have a record of 3-7. And we've talked about the whole curtain situation. They're not catching touchdowns. And honestly, it's just getting worse and worse for the Cowboys and Jerry. The building is literally falling apart. Monday night when they played, pieces of metal fell from the top of the stadium onto the field, narrowly hitting the production crew out there.
I saw that. Terrifying. Like a giant, sharp piece of stadium fell from the sky.
Jerry Jones was like not fazed by it. He was like, oh, it was windy. If it was real danger, there wouldn't be anyone out there. And I don't know. I feel like it's just a little bit chaotic right now on the Cowboys, and Jerry needs to really face what's going on. We have CD Lamb filming music videos while their team's 0-5 at home. I just don't know how they're going to turn this team around.
Really quick on the pieces of metal falling from the sky. The Texans immediately after tweeted, "Look out below," and posted an L-shaped sheet of metal. Like an L is falling from the sky.
Yeah, I mean, they're right.
An L is falling from the sky.
They're probably like, they could still be playoff contenders if they win the rest of their games, but I do think it's a big stretch for them, and they could just end up tanking to try to rebuild for next year.
Another team we've talked about a lot that cannot seem to get it together, the Jets, who are 3-8. They seem to have their hat in the ring for this sweepstakes as well. They just fired their general manager after firing their head coach a few weeks ago. Seems like a bad sign. And there are rumors online that it's just Aaron Rodgers being like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. There are also rumors that the owner is just going rogue and not talking to anybody and firing left and right. Either way, if everybody at the top is getting fired, it's probably not a great sign for the end of your season.
Yeah. And I hear there's been rumors of benching Aaron Rodgers for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, that probably won't happen, but something needs to change on that team.
I bet Robert Saleh's happy he got out of there.
Yeah, he's doing really well in Green Bay currently, is what I've been hearing.
Does he have an official position with them, or he's just like...
He's like an offensive, I forget what they're calling it.
Like consultant?
Consultant, yes. And apparently he designed a big play that changed the game in the Packers' 1-point win over the Bears in Week 11. So he's getting creative over there.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since he left, the Jets have just been crumbling, especially their defense. I had to trade them off my fantasy.
That's great. Like, you definitely don't want to see your ex succeed. You want to see just everything go terribly for them.
Yeah, I don't think he was the problem, Salah. Another team on the list, before you mention it, I will bring it up myself. The New England Patriots, they're also 3-8, so definitely not the best season we've had. But unlike the Jets, who were expecting to have one of the best seasons ever with Aaron Rodgers and all their star wide receivers, we weren't expecting that. We know we're rebuilding.
Yeah.
I feel happy with Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
We have a future. So I'm happy with 3-8.
If you're happy, Kelly, I'm happy.
Yeah, and if it means we'll get a better pick for next year,
Yeah.
so be it. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm happy too.
What a great outlook.
I'm just not stressed at all right now.
There we go. Yo, it's rebuilding.
Rebuilding.
Mm-hmm. Another team that I hear is doing really poorly, the Raiders. They are 2-8, which is bad. But Shador Sanders, so every time they lose, he tweets, "Thank you, God," all caps.
Yeah,
God.
this is really interesting.
Like an hour after they lose. So I don't think it takes a full-on detective to figure out the pattern, to crack the code.
Yeah, and usually a first round pick is pretty silent about. They don't want to go to the worst team.
Yeah, it seems like he has a plan, and the plan is for him and his dad to be in Vegas.
Seems to be announcing it to us all.
Thank you, God. That's got to feel terrible to be on the Raiders, trying your hardest to win. And this college kid is thrilled every time you lose. He's thanking God.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe they're looking to next year too and thinking maybe he can help us.
Yeah. Because who's the Raiders quarterback right now? Gardner Minshew? Yeah, maybe they want this
Gardner
little
Minshew.
wonder boy.
Yeah, he hasn't done much. They're also in a rebuilding year, so I think they'd be happy with a first round pick.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Giants. We talked earlier about Tommy DeVito starting this week, but not everyone agrees with benching Daniel Jones. Some players have been coming out to defend him. Defensive player Dexter Lawrence said that Danny's the best quarterback on the team, so he was surprised about the decision to bench him and start, Tommy DeVito.
I saw that he also said Danny is his best friend.
I thought that was really sweet.
Me too.
But yeah, it sounds like the locker room's pretty torn on whether they support benching Danny or not. But a torn locker room is never a good sign. So I think that could spell trouble for the Giants for the rest of the season.
All right, so we've got Cowboys, Jets, Patriots, Raiders, Giants. Anyone else in the conversation?
When we're talking about bad teams, we got to mention the Jags, who are currently the worst ranked team as of week 11. They are 2-9.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, I don't hear about them in the mix of the worst, but they are the worst of the worst.
They're the worst. And there's rumors that their coach, Doug Peterson, may be replaced by Bill Belichick.
Oh.
Not during the season, maybe next year. So that would be very interesting.
I would love to see his girlfriend on the sidelines. I'm
Florida.
sure she would post get ready with me for game day stuff. I can't.
Yeah, we need Bill back in the league. There's a lot of good stories there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with these teams being mentioned, Kelly, who do you think will be, when it's all said and done, the top 3 worst teams and therefore have the top 3 best picks in the next draft?
I am going to go with the Raiders, the Giants, and lastly, the Jags. They're the biggest losers right now. I don't see that changing. And so they're staying on the list.
All right.
I honestly wouldn't mind putting the Patriots on that list. But
yeah.
We want a high pick. But I don't think we're there yet right now.
It is so interesting that at some point towards the end of the season, you're like,
what's the point of winning
anymore? Fuck this all up. Yeah. All right. Giants, Jags, Raiders. We've
Good
got
luck to the rest of the season.
or not.
Or not. And that brings us to our final goss.
Final goss.
All right, Marissa, what do you have for us today?
All right, today's final goss is a little more football related than usual, but it's also about loose lips and gossip and family drama. So
We love all of that.
we love all of that. So on the Bears, there were some rumors swirling last week and late the week before that some of the veteran players wanted Caleb Williams benched in favor of Tyson Bagent.
I did see some of those posts swirling about.
Yeah, so it was reported that some of the veteran players felt this way, and then those veteran players came out and said, this isn't true. Tight end Cole Kmet said it's not true. Chicago Tribune Bears reporter Brad Biggs said, I don't believe that happened. I don't think there's a story there. So it's like, did they say it? Did they not? What's going on? So it was reported by a Bears radio host, Sylvie. I think he's like long time, very reputable. He's the one who said it. But then a Reddit post came out that maybe Sylvie's source was Tyson Bagent's dad, Travis Bagent, and that he's starting this rumor to like create turmoil on the Bears, which
To get his son, or like to like set the idea with like
yes, in like a full
coaches.
stage mom move. And you might remember Tyson Bagent's dad. We talked about him a bunch last season when Tyson came in for Justin Fields.
Yeah, he's got like a special skill.
He's a world champion arm wrestler.
That's it.
And on the sideline, somebody went up and was like, one of the reporters was like, oh, I hear you're an arm wrestler. And he's like, arm wrestle me right now. Like, he loves the attention. He loves the spotlight. He seems like someone who would
Just get his son's name back in the media.
exactly. The Reddit post said that Travis Bagent is the source, and he did the same thing last year with Justin Fields, and that, quote, he has created unnecessary drama, leaking nonsense to ESPN radio personalities. So Sylvie had to address this on his radio show because it's taking his
Embarrassing.
reputation into question. His sources, he said, 100%, it's a true thing that vet players have said, and that Travis Bagent is not his source. But however you cut it, it sounds like there is drama and there are bad vibes in the Bears locker room. My hope is that this is all stemming from like a villainous dad
Stirring the drama.
just stirring the pot. But Caleb Williams is still playing. So if this was Tyson Bagent's dad's mischief, it has so far been ineffective.
They have to keep playing Caleb. He's the number one pick, right?
I don't know. They are paying Daniel Jones how much money to sit on the bench?
Yeah.
Anything's possible out here. But it does seem like Tyson Bagent's dad is a character to keep our eyes on. And I like the idea of him starting trouble and planting rumors. So that's our final goss for this week.
Yeah, we'll check in to see if Caleb keeps playing or Tyson ends up starting soon.
And what else Sylvie has to say. Yeah, because no vet players have come forward and been like, yeah, I'm the one that said that. Only people have come forward and said, I never said that. That never happened. So
We'll find out. Well, I think that's it for this episode of the Tea Huddle.
thank you all for listening. Come back next Thursday and the Thursday after and the Thursday after that.
We've got the arrests, the beef, the rumors, the sky falling in on the Cowboys, all of that.
Yes, find us at the Tea Huddle on Instagram, TikTok, and we'll be back with more goss next week.
And until then, stay juicy.